Hurt people hurt people. You know, Johnny Cash, born in 1932 in Arkansas, grew up dirt poor, coming out of the Great Depression, picking cotton under a relentless sun. And at the age of 12, a tragedy struck. His older brother Jack died in a sawmill accident, mangled by a blade while Cash watched helplessly, a guilt that gnawed at him for decades. By the 1960s, Johnny Cash was known as the Man in Black. He was a country star, but pain drove him to ruin. Amphetamines and barbiturates fueled missed gigs, wrecked marriages, and arrests, like his 1965 El Paso bust for smuggling pills. Lyrics from his later song, Hurt, I will let you down, I will make you hurt. That was penned by Trent Reznor from the band Nine Inch Nails, but Johnny Cash sang it many years later, and it became a hit. It mirrored his life then, hurting others as he spiraled. This song echoed his life of regret and redemption. This is from my new book, So You're Telling Me There's a Chance. And we're looking at the life of leaders and those who are inspired and motivated, but we also are looking at the experience of what it means to be human. There is hurt, there is pain, there is loneliness, there are bad choices, there are disappointments. And Johnny Cash, I mean, a star, country star. He had Cash hit pause in 1967. June Carter, his future wife, and a faith revival pulled him from a cave where he had gone to die, as he wrote in Cash, the autobiography. He was sober by 1968. He walked into Folsom State Prison on January 13th, performing for inmates with a raw empathy, no judgment, just, quote, I've been there, end quote, selling 1 million copies of At Folsom Prison and marking a comeback born of healing. Cash's turnaround wasn't a quick fix. It took years of clawing back from the abyss, a process he detailed as a fight every day in a 1970 Rolling Stone interview. That hard-won wholeness fueled his leadership, quiet but profound. We're talking about Johnny Cash, the Man in Black, who had a life experience of a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, a lot of public embarrassments through some poor choices, but also we're looking at the redemption story. In 1969, he recorded at San Quentin, staring down prisoners with songs like San Quentin, You've Been Living Hell to Me. Connecting as one who had known cages, literal and self-made. Quote, I wear black for the poor and beaten down, end quote, he told the Rolling Stone in 2002, rejecting fame's glitter for a servant's heart. His prison albums topped charts. Folsom hit #1 on the Billboard Country and inspired outcasts, with inmates writing him letters of gratitude. Unlike peers who chased the spotlight, Cash's healing stopped his cycle of hurt, proving healed people heal. His empathy lifted others where his addiction once tore them down. Cash's story, Johnny Cash, the Man in Black, it's the champion's arc. Pain isn't the end, it's the forge. You know, just in our last session, we looked at Michael Jordan, the NBA legend, what many people, including Shaquille O'Neal and Magic Johnson and LeBron James himself, basically said he's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. But we looked at Michael Jordan's story about being cut from the varsity basketball team as a sophomore in high school. Had that not happened to Michael Jordan, he might not have learned how to discover that out of that breaking point, out of that brokenness, that would become the reason he would work so hard and never want to experience that pain in his life again. And so from my book, So You're Telling Me There's a Chance, we're looking at, in this chapter, the fact that hurt people hurt people. And as we look at Johnny Cash's story, he said, You don't get over it, you go through it. Talking about his brother's death, a wisdom earned over decades that shaped his leadership. Compare him to stars who let hurt fester. Cash's reflection and faith, sparked by June's ultimatum in 1967, turned guilt into grace. Leaders facing their own wounds can take this, pause, heal, and then lead with a purpose. His black suit cost $20. His prison shows a day's travel. Yet they built a bridge from despair to hope, aligning with the call to lead with the heart over ego. Cash didn't just sing. He showed that facing pain head on, not hiding it, builds a legacy more lasting than any hit. We're talking about Johnny Cash, the Man in Black, an incredible superstar on the country music scene for decades. Embarrassing moments, broken moments, and yet the redemption story, his own personal faith journey, as well as just his story of acknowledging the pain. How are you doing as a leader? As a leader of a business, of a family, of a team in the music industry? Has life brought you some moments of brokenness and pain? And how did we respond to that pain? Did we take that pain and then take it out on everyone else? Because what we observe and see many times is that hurt people hurt others. Sometimes hurt people express their hurt and their pain through music, through poetry, through songs, through art. Sometimes they use the hurt and the pain, and they use competitive athletics as an outlet, as an arena to escape, if you will. Some people turn to drugs and alcohol and other substances to numb the pain. But what we want to celebrate is that in the life of a leader, we can take that hurt. And it doesn't have to be, that doesn't have to be the ultimate story that hurt people hurt people. What if hurt people became healed people? And then we learn that healed people heal others. That's really what we're sharing in my book for leaders, for champions, for people who want to become leaders, who want to become more for their families, for their children, for their marriages, for their grandchildren, right? Bob Marley said this: truth is everybody is going to hurt you. You just got to find the ones worth suffering for. Isn't that so true? You walk this road of life long enough, the people that you love the most at times, sometimes on purpose, but often accidentally, will hurt you. They will wound you. And that's where we have to choose the ones who are worth suffering for, the ones that, you know what? I love you. You love me. We're in this together. I'm not giving up on you. You're not giving up on me. I forgive you. You forgive me. Let's keep going and let's love each other through our imperfections. Hurt people, and healed people heal people. And when you're in the people business, we got to learn that some people are easygoing. Some people aim to please. Some people are challenging. Some people are difficult. And some people are hurt. That reaction that you may have experienced at the restaurant or at the grocery store or at school or at the workplace, man, have you ever had a story like that? Comment below. Let us know. Throw up an emoji. Like, follow, share, and repost, because we want to impact people. We want to inspire people to be their best. We want to influence others to become a champion for those that are depending on them. But if you have ever come across someone who is hurting, man, sometimes when they go off, you can feel their wrath and you can almost feel their pain. And those of us who are wanting to inspire others to be their best, sometimes it's easy to get drawn into that moment and maybe react in a way that we shouldn't. But champions, we try to respond with patience, love, grace, and understanding, because hurt people go through stuff. Now, we don't want to be enablers. I'm not suggesting that we enable them and allow them to continue in an abusive manner or pattern or a toxic response. but we also, sometimes it takes time for people to grow and mature and look themselves in the mirror and work on themselves. Be consistent, be steady, be available, be ready to help those that you love and care about. And that's kind of what Bob Marley's saying is we just got to find the ones that are worth suffering for. There are some people that their response, reactions, and relationships are so toxic that I'm not saying we should ever give up on anyone, but we also get to choose what kind of bandwidth and what kind of space we want to offer to people. And so hurt people hurt people. Some people bring their pain into other relationships. They bring their pain into their marriage. They bring their pain into their family. They bring their pain into the workplace. They bring their pain into the community. The byproduct of this reality is more pain and dysfunction being carried around inside of them. Famous celebrities and movie stars struggle with pain and trauma. The starting point guard and the star quarterback struggle with this. Internet stars and Instagram influencers carry the same burden. The all-state trumpet player and valedictorian hurt. Desperate housewives and burnout corporate executives struggle with the pain of the past as well. Pastors, Sunday school teachers, and worship leaders want to heal from the pain. Sweet little grandmas and grandpas have been hurt deeply. The farmer and the plumber are carrying some hurt around as well. The person at the checkout line at the grocery store and the person working at the appliance might be dealing with some pain as well. People we know, love, and interact with are hurting. We may even be hurting deeply. Sometimes it's from a childhood experience. Sometimes it's from a bad relationship. And if people who are hurt and wounded don't heal, they hurt themselves more and may eventually wound others. That's what we're talking about in this chapter from my book, is that hurt people hurt people. In the song Hurt by Nine Inch Nails and re-recorded by Johnny Cash, the lyrics deeply explore themes of self-destruction, emotional pain, and how internal suffering can manifest in ways that hurt others. The lyrics are depressing, painful, and paint a picture of someone hurting deeply. They try to manage the pain with empty vices and seek to find a place of relief. I hurt myself today to see if I still feel. Self-harm is a reality in today's society. Quote, the only thing that's real, the needle tears a hole, end quote. This is so painful even to listen to the lyrics that were written by Trent Reznor from the Nine Inch Nails. And whether this was a personal story or whether this was just more to be a metaphor, it is some people's reality that the pain that they feel, the hurt that they feel, can be expressed through lyrics like this. So we want to make sure that we understand that hurt people, whether it's expressed through a song, whether it's expressed through poetry, whether it's expressed through the pain, that when we come into contact with people who are hurting deeply, then how do we respond to that? And we definitely want to respond with love, care, encouragement, and you know, there's a quote here by another recording artist, Alanis Morissette, and she said, I want to poke holes in the erroneous beliefs that what fame provides. It won't raise your self-esteem. It won't create profound connection. It's not going to heal your childhood traumas. It's only going to amplify them. You're going to be subject to a lot of criticism and praise, both of which are violent in their own ways. So both criticism and praise can definitely cause, on both sides of the extreme, people to hurt and long for something that is not, that can't satisfy. And so there's an artist who's 5'2". She's not very tall, but she packs a punch. You might have heard of her. Her name is Lady Gaga, right? And her real name is Stephanie Germanotta. And I probably didn't pronounce that correctly. We know her as Lady Gaga. She was born in 1986 in New York City. She grew up facing torment, bullied at school for her quirky style. She was called Rabbit Teeth and Freak, and she was assaulted at the age of 19. And she hid this trauma for many years. As Lady Gaga, her early fame in 2008 with The Fame brought Grammys, but amplified her pain. Depression, substance use, it spiraled. She said, I was a mess. Quote, I was a mess. I hurt myself because I didn't know how to feel better, end quote. But in her 20s, Gaga chose healing over collapse, therapy, sobriety, and a vow to turn pain outward. In 2012, at the age of 26, she co-founded the Born This Way Foundation with her mother to empower youth against bullying and mental health. She said this, kindness healed me. I want to give back, end quote. Gaga's leadership isn't a loud bravado, it's raw vulnerability. A quiet strength that uplifts. She inspired fans like Kirk Franklin, aimed to help and heal with gospel hope. Her album, Joanne, that year, named for her late aunt, channeled wholeness, hitting #1 on the Billboard charts. And the foundation's impact grew. By 2025, it reached over 50 million teens with mental health resources. Gaga's healing was a grind, daily therapy, meditation, and advocacy, breaking the cycle of hurt. Quote, I'm not here to be perfect. I'm here to be real, end quote. Healed people heal people. The same people who are wounded can reach a place of health, wholeness, and healing. Having a vision and standing for excellence in life, leadership, and relationships is important. Cruelty in leadership is toxic and unacceptable. There is no place for cruelty from people who are healed. Quote, cruelty is all out of ignorance. If you know what was in store for you, you wouldn't hurt anybody, because whatever you do comes back much more forceful than you send out. That was Willie Nelson who said that. How we treat one another matters. I've been around some amazing mentors and great people in my life. I've learned so much by asking questions, observing, and strategically learning from other amazing leaders and coaches. Something that has resonated with me is realizing just how many broken people are out there. They're sitting next to us at games, at our jobs, at our schools, at our churches, at our businesses, and they're even in our families. Sometimes we know they are hurting. Sometimes they suffer in silence until the pain lashes out. Whether it's intentional or unintentional, these broken people are hurting. Because they are hurting on the inside, they sometimes hurt others. They do this with their words and their actions, their attitudes, and more. Quote, if you love large, you've got to hurt large. If you've got a lot of light, you've probably got an equal amount of darkness, end quote. That was Sarah McLachlan that said that. Unfortunately, some of these broken people in our society end up in influential positions of leadership. Some of them become enticed, almost addicted to the pain. Some people become built and wired to treat others in a way that is cruel. They have developed habits, defense mechanisms, or are simply ruthless humans. Sometimes they are aware of their tendencies to hurt others and want to change. Other times they know what they are doing and they truly don't care who they hurt. Some of them like inflicting and projecting pain onto others. It's almost like a sick game to them. Do you know anyone like that? Have you ever worked with anyone like that? Have you ever had a teammate like that? A friend like that? A family member like that? It's tough. It's not easy, but they're out there. Quote, bullying has always been around and there will always be people who thrive on the hurt they cause to others, end quote. Sylvester Stallone said that there's a natural law of karma that vindictive people who go out of their way to hurt others will end up broken and alone, end quote. Quote, I worry about my kids growing up and how the world might hurt them. But at the same time, I absolutely do not worry about them growing up because they have great values and a great sense of self, end quote. That's from Reese Witherspoon. So I think as we look at this and we unpack a very deep topic and concept, we have to realize that that pain is out there, that hurt people, but then how do we coach ourselves up and those that we love and care about that are entrusted to us? How do we guide them on how to navigate these waters of a world that's full of pain and people that want to cause pain? If you don't give power to the words that people throw at you to hurt you, they don't hurt you anymore. And you actually have power over those people, end quote. Part of that is what I just read is like, hey, don't give people power over you. Don't allow their words to have power. And that's easier said than done, but that's definitely a strategy and a technique. Chris Rock, the comedian, said, you can only offend me if you mean something to me, end quote. And the movie star Zendaya said, there are things that people say that hurt my feelings or whatever, especially with social media right now. It can be the most amazing thing, and it can also be the most negative and detrimental thing, end quote. Social media can hurt people's feelings. People say things or hide behind keyboards and write things and type things that are very painful. And people take it to heart. Here's a quote for you from Gary Chapman, relationship expert. He said this, I wish I'd known that apologizing is a sign of strength. I had the impression that if you apologize, it's a sign of weakness. I kind of picked up the message from my father. Real men don't apologize. You just do your best, and if you happen to hurt some people, that's their fault. You just go on. Don't apologize. That's a sign of weakness, end quote. Now, so which is it? Does the strong leader and the champion leader realize that, hey, if I do something that causes pain to others, I can own that and ask for forgiveness? Or do we say, well, that's just the way it is. People are going to get hurt and you just keep moving on and it doesn't matter who I hurt. But I think over time, people who value relationships, they value genuine connection with others, realize that, hey, it's a good thing to humble yourself. Admit when you make a mistake. Own the mistake. Confess the mistake. Learn from the mistake. And then begin that journey to becoming a better version of yourself. You know, talking about sports, the amazing thing about a football team is we can disagree and fight like brothers, but then we come back together. We are able to be open and honest about things that may offend us, end quote. That's from Benjamin Watson. Champion leaders step away from the fight and the friction. Champion leaders step away from the argument and the potential pain. Champion leaders step away from the sensitivity in that moment. So what I believe is once we become aware, there's a stepping away, right? Getting out of the fight. So while the fight may have happened, while the argument, the disagreement, the pain may have happened, there is a moment where the champions and the leaders who value relationships and value people, they step away for a moment and they assess the situation, evaluate, pause, think, reflect. Maybe they had a rough day. When we believe the best of people, we let go of each thing they do that is hurtful to us. And we choose to think things like, I don't believe they meant to hurt me. Maybe they're having a bad day or don't feel well. They probably don't even realize how they sound. Now, you know, some people, when they hear this, say, oh, you're just enabling someone to cause pain to you. And that may very well be. I don't know your situation. I don't know all the details of what you've experienced or what you've been through. And I know that there are, you know, two things can be true at the same time in this situation. There are people who genuinely hurt others, and they also genuinely repent, ask for forgiveness, and change their ways. And there are people who hurt people. They ask for forgiveness, but then they keep on repeating those behaviors and those actions. And that definitely can be toxic and a bad situation. So I think as leaders, we have to seek discernment, wisdom, pray, think, assess, and evaluate hey, is this relationship valuable to me? If so, what do we need to do to remedy this situation? Because hurt people, and healed people heal people. Maybe I can listen well and reflect. Maybe I need to walk away and gather my thoughts. Maybe this isn't the time to engage in the conversation. Maybe I can encourage them if they need it. That is one of those situations. When I played competitive sports, I was a quarterback, and a quarterback gets up on the line of scrimmage, and you scan the defense. You make sure all your own team is set, and you have to be able to dissect so much in a matter of seconds, and then run the play and execute at a high level, and things break down. But my point in bringing that up is so much of playing the quarterback is scanning, observing, making sure, and then once you scan, you got to go. You got to make the play. And I think in life, sometimes we get into a situation where there's hurt, there's pain. Either we've caused it or others have caused it toward us. And we scan, and then we just react. We just react back the way the energy came toward us is what we just mirror it right back at them, right back at you. And that's definitely a strategy and a technique. And often I don't know that it works well for people, especially when it's negative energy. I like to think that as champions and leaders, when we're in a situation where there's pain, that we step back, we step away from that where that pain point is. We step back long enough, just like a quarterback that's got to scan the defense and say, okay, wait, what really is going on? What did they go through something today I'm not aware of? Do I need to give some patience and some grace and some understanding in this situation? Those are things that we as healed leaders and champion builders, we want to be able to do. So as we learn, grow, and work on ourselves, healing begins to take place. As we become a better leader, each day strive to build a better version of ourselves, our impact and influence increases. Our desire to make a difference increases. This is what champions do. I was having a conversation earlier today with my parents. We were on the phone, and our family's been going through some things, just like probably very similar to things that you face, things that you go through. And as we were talking through some of those situations, you know, what are the alternatives? Do you want to complain? Do you want to gripe? Do you want to murmur? Do you want to quit? How does that work? What are really the best options? Sometimes we need to step back and reevaluate. But you know what I've found over the years is that's when you roll up your sleeves. That's when you discover who you are, the commitment, the dedication, the consistency, the grit, the ability to keep going when others would crumble and fall away. What a beautiful thing to learn that about yourself, to keep going, to keep loving even in a painful world, to keep showing love and grace, to be steady, to be present, Sometimes people, when they're going through tough times, they don't need a lecture. They don't need to be told what to do. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do. But sometimes they just need someone to sit with them in the mess and say, I'm here for you, bro. I'm here for you. Whatever you're going through, lean on me. I mean, there's a reason that song that's decades and decades old. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Before it won't be long till I'm going to need somebody to lean on. I mean, think about that. I'm going to need somebody to lean on. So when someone I know is going through it, when hurt people go through stuff and they're acting out in a painful behaviors. Again, have your boundaries, make sure that you protect yourself and your well-being. But if you're a strong champion and a strong leader, maybe it's time to lock arms with them, say, hey, come on, I got you. We're going to get through this together. Listen to this. To heal from the inside out is the key. That's Winona Judd. Quote, I hope in telling the truth, I can heal others, end quote. Kirk Franklin said that. Quote, I have found the paradox that if you love until it hurts, there can be no more hurt, only more love, end quote. That's Mother Teresa. So when we love people that are unlovable, what we discover is like when we come to the end of ourselves, often we discover there's more love to give. There's more forgiveness. There's more encouragement. There's more grace and goodness. But it can't be just what we have to offer, because honestly, we are imperfect. We fall short. We fail others. I believe that if we want to give love, we have to receive love. And so much of that comes from a faith. Look up for strength. Call out for strength. And when you receive God's love and God's strength, then you're able to give it out. That's what I believe. I believe champions operate in that overflow, right? Anybody who succeeds is helping people. The secret to success is find a need and fill it. Find a hurt and heal it. Find a problem and solve it, end quote. That's from Robert Schuller. I've been searching for ways to heal myself, and I found that kindness is the best way, from Lady Gaga. Time doesn't heal. Time helps heal, and learning helps heal. That's from the legendary coach Tom Izzo. Champion leaders speak life into individuals that are hurting and help them become more in life, relationships, and leadership. Champion leaders lead from a place of wholeness and healing. It takes time, it takes work, but it's worth it. Moving from a place of pain and hurt and hurting others is the work of a champion. Living a life of inspiration and encouragement is the work of healed individuals and leaders. Hurt people hurt people. Healed people heal people. That's the theme. That's what we're talking about tonight from my book, So You're Telling Me There's a Chance. Building champions, inspiring people to be their best, impacting them in a way that causes them to dig deep and become more for their families, for their businesses, for their companies, for their communities. We need this message in today's society. And we believe that through these techniques and tools that we're going to help ignite the champion inside of everyone that's listening. Not because we're perfect or we're special. We're not. That's what makes this message so compelling, I believe, is we're imperfect people, full of imperfections, scars, sins, mistakes. But from those moments, if we're wise, we can learn from our mistakes. We can learn from the pain, from the hurt, and not allow us. Don't become who hurt you. Working with young people, and again, if you just jumped on this session, I'm a Texas high school football coach, 4-time state champion. I love what I do to impact young people, but more importantly than just that is I'm a husband, I'm a father of 3 sons, and it's been a blessing I just had one of my athletes say, "What's up, coach? What's up, Houston? Love you, brother. Proud of you." You know, we have all of the tests that you've gone through. If we allow that pain and turn it over, again, I believe turn it over to God and say, "God, it's too much for me. I can't take it." If we allow that pain to exit our life, the tests that we've been through can become a testimony, right? Those scars can be healed over time, and we can learn from what we went through and then make a decision that I'm not going to become who hurt me. I refuse to become who hurt me. So maybe your parents hurt you. Maybe a coach hurt you or wounded you. Maybe a boss hurt you. A grandparent hurt you. Maybe a child hurt you. Whatever hurt, maybe, again, you know what caused the hurt and the pain. Don't allow that to be your story for the rest of your life. Don't be telling that same story 2 years and 2 decades from now and 2 generations from now when you're a grandparent, that your grandchildren are repeating that cycle of pain. Hurt people, but the beautiful part about this message is not just what we looked at with Johnny Cash and his world of hurt and pain, but there was a redemption story in the middle of that pain. We looked at Lady Gaga, the pop star, and the pain that she went through, and she turned that pain into a purpose, starting a foundation to help kids, to help people walk this journey of life. That's what champions do. They take the hurt, they take the pain, they learn from it, they grow for it. They don't dismiss it and say, "Oh, it didn't exist, it's not real. Let's bury our head in the sand." That's not what we're saying. Acknowledge it, own it. Whether we caused it, sometimes our own decision brings our own pain in our life. We've got to own that. We've got to learn from that. But sometimes we experience pain that we didn't invite. We didn't invite that into our life. It was done to us, or it was dumped on us, whatever it was. And that's the thing that tonight I want to encourage. I want to encourage you, whoever's listening, wherever you're listening across the world. Don't let the pain be your defining moment and your defining story for life. Take that hurt, turn it over, call out to God for strength and help to be healed. Because on the other side of that pain can be healing. And when we experience that healing, you got to understand what's going to happen. Healed people will heal other people. So if you have a goal, if you're a business owner, you're a CEO, you own a company, and you're over 2 employees or 22 employees or 2,222 employees, when you are a leader that is healed, guess what happens to your entire organization? People that buy into the vision, they start to experience that overflow life. And they start to bring healing to the marketplace, healing to the boardroom, healing to the company, healing can you see it's like a ripple effect that starts to happen. If you experienced pain, okay, growing up as a child, and you grew up in a broken home, and then all of a sudden you decide, you know what, one day I'm going to get married, or maybe you already are married and you're going through the fire, and there's a defining moment where you say, look, like, this is how my dad did it, and it wasn't good, it wasn't healthy. Or this is how my mom did it, it wasn't good, it wasn't healthy, it was dysfunctional and destructive. Well, first of all, let me just clue you in just a little bit in case you didn't know. Like, we're all a little bit broken and a little bit dysfunctional, and some of us a little more than others. So give yourself some grace and give others grace, because we're all going to need grace. Okay. But also at the same time, don't tolerate a toxic situation. Okay. Get the education, get the training, get the spiritual foundation, get that faith component. And then if someone you know has a healthy marriage or a healthy relationship or healthy children or healthy business or a healthy family group or a healthy team, then get around those people and spend time with them and ask questions and take notes. Like, ask the meaningful questions and then learn from them. Be teachable, be coachable. You know, I share this story. So if you just jumped on, I'm a 4-time state champion high school football coach. I've had some amazing coaches, teams, and mentors that I've worked with. And they bought into these young people, bought into the mission. They bought into the vision of where we were headed. They bought into the blueprint, and then they went to work, and we were able to do some special things. But when that season was over and you hoisted up the state championship trophy and you ordered your state championship rings and all that, and it was good, guess what? You close the chapter to that cool book. And then the cool thing about competitive athletics is you start a new season and a new off season. And so as coaches, what we would do is we would get in the car and drive to a team or a college or a university or a professional team that was also having a lot of success. Somebody that we knew that we called up and we were able to make arrangements, say, hey, can we visit your staff for a week? We want to just watch your practices, watch tape with you, get with your coaches, ask questions, learn new skills, learn new drills. And even though we had just had a lot of success, we wanted to get around other successful people, other successful teams, other successful coaches, and ask the questions and learn a little bit more or a lot more. There's wisdom in that. Whether you're trying to build a championship sports program or a championship business or a championship marriage or a championship family or a championship sports team, you got to get around other people who have been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, and they're willing to share. They're willing to share with you. And I'm so thankful that we were able to drive across the state, multiple states. We were able to jump in a plane and fly across the country. And it's so cool to sit down in the room with other winners and listen to their stories. Because what you'll find is even though they have a ton of success, many times they've had many situations that broke them or almost broke them. And that's what we're talking about tonight. Hurt people hurt people, but healed people heal people. And somewhere along the timeline of everybody's story are breaking points where they didn't feel like they had enough strength to go on. And it was in those moments, many of those people called out for supernatural strength, said, God, I can't do it without you. I need you. Give me wisdom. Give me insight. Give me understanding. Help me. Show me the way. Put me into contact with other people who are going to build me up, inspire me, help me to become more, because there are people that are relying on me. There are people that are relying on you. You could say tonight, like, hey, Stephen, I don't own a business. I don't have 200 employees that look up to me. I'm not married. I don't have a significant other. I'm not in a serious relationship right now. Wherever your situation is, whether you own a company or you're part of a family or you're just by yourself at home, I get DMs all the time from people that are saying, hey, thank you for these encouraging words. Keep it up. Now, we appreciate that because there's a lot of haters on social media, if you haven't noticed. A lot of people call me Mr. Clean. My wife likes it, so I own it, right? But like the reality is, on everybody's timeline are stories of hurt and pain. But the reality of that is in those defining moments when we call for supernatural strength. God, I need you. I can't make it without you. Something special happens. And then we pray for mentors in our life, coaches and teachers and pastors and business owners and other couples that have a successful marriage and other people who are raising champions. And you get around winners, the conversation's different. They're not talking about people. They're not gossiping about people. They're talking about winning. They're talking about the skills and the techniques and the attitude and the mindset of a champion, the faith, the commitment, the decisions that they make on a day, the habits. And all of a sudden the conversation changes and you realize, like, man, I want to hang around with winners a whole lot more because these people build me up. And the energy that they bring inspires me to be my best. And so if we're not careful, if we get around, they say, I tell my students this all the time. There was a saying in a study that came out that said that you and I become like the 5 people we hang around the most. So just think of your closest 5 friends. Some of you may say, I've got 1 or 2 friends, or I don't have any close friends. The concept is this. You might have 500 friends, but the 5 people you hang around the most is who we become like. So for me, I started doing a self-analysis. I'm like, hey, I love my friends. I'm thankful to have many friends, but like the people that I'm going to spend time with are people that are going to be energy givers and not energy vampires. The people that I want to spend the time with are going to be people that pour into me and others and encourage, because so much of this life, there are so many discouraging moments. And so wherever you find yourself, get around some other champions and allow them to help lift you up and help build you up and become your best. What are we listening to? What are we watching with our eyes? What are we speaking out of our mouth? What comes off our tongue? What comes off of our tongue is a mirror to our heart. And so if we don't like the things that are coming out of our mouth, we have the opportunity to reprogram and reframe the words of our mouth and the meditation of our heart. So if we want to speak differently, we got to get this heart checked. And where we get this in our soul, where it goes from our head to our heart to our hands. I believe that. And so renew your mind, think differently, start to think better, start to listen to leadership podcasts and audio books and read. Readers are leaders and leaders are readers. So who are you studying? Who are you getting around? Because here's the thing. What we have looked at today is this. Hurt people hurt people. From my book, so you're telling me there's a chance. But by design, as we get into the next part of the book, we really start to study the healed people component. Do you want to be made whole? Do you want to be healed? Or do you like the fact that, oh, you've had so much pain and so much hurt in your life, and now I just want to talk about the pain and talk about the hurt with everybody because it gives me attention? Like, is that you? Or are you ready to lay down? Are you ready to lay that down and say, you know what? I'm done with the hurt. I'm done with the pain. That's not going to be my story anymore. I'm laying this down today. Hurt people hurt people. That may be true. But that doesn't have to be me or those that come after me or those that are around me for the rest of my life. I want to be healed because I want to bring healing into the room. I want to bring healing into the workplace. I want to bring healing into my family. I want to bring healing into that locker room. I want to bring healing to that marriage and that relationship. I want to bring healing to those children. I want to bring healing to my friends. And y'all, it's a domino effect. We just get to decide who we want to be. So yes, we acknowledge that pain happened. We don't bury our head in the sand and pretend like it didn't happen. The pain happened. It's real. And hurt people, okay? But also we want to acknowledge the fact that if I want a new life, if I want something different, then I need to accept, receive, and walk out the healing in my life. And then when we go into the room, when we go into the building, when we go to work, when we get around those people, we bring the healing message and the hope, okay, that's available, that's been made available to us and now through us. That's the beautiful thing. My name's Stephen Greet, and we want to inspire people to become their best. We want to impact others for generations to come in the right way. We want to influence people to think differently, to think better. And most importantly, we want to ignite the champion inside of everyone. So if you like what you've heard tonight, please share, follow, like. We're on all the socials, and look us up. We've got a website and all that stuff. So follow us. We've got free stuff on the website, and we want to just encourage people. Our books are available. So share, and we just appreciate you tuning in. We hope that something we said tonight encourages you. Okay, and if so, send us a message. Like I said, share this, maybe share this with a friend, tag. Somebody's going through something tonight. You know it. You may be going through something tonight. The hurt may be real. It may be heavy on your heart. Lay that down and accept the healing and the grace that comes and the strength that comes on the other side of that. Because not only will you be healed, but you will help bring healing to others. Have a great day.